Greetings and salutations, mighty Vikings. I had the privilege to sit down with the developers of Dark Heresy Owlcat games and a lot of other creators and selected people of the Owl Mates, or how their VIP club is called. And we had a glimpse at around, I think, 2 hours of how the whole game works, mechanics at play, etc., and are now allowed to share a specific B-roll with you guys because the game is still in pre-alpha phase and they don't want to share and show stuff to the public, of course, that is not yet fleshed out or might give you a wrong opinion. So everything you see here will and is subject to change. Of course, a baseline of the narrative, a baseline of the UI, the mechanics at play, etc., are already placed and fledged in. But they will change a lot of things. They will tweak a lot of things. And I've not seen the B-roll, so I'd say we buckle up and we jump back into this video footage together. It's around 8 minutes long. And also on this place, a shout out to the channel, meaning that if you are interested in Dark Heresy, in the lore, in maybe potential builds, etc., then you definitely should give this channel a subscription. With no further ado, let's jump into it. So it's like we're on a planet where they are living off sea harvests, aka harvesting all kinds of sea monsters and creatures. We have over here our typical tech use check. UI has changed a lot. We see here we have two companions. We have our Astra Militarum and the Medicae lady following us. I am curious, does the tech percentage change depending on whom you pick in the group, or if you pick everybody, if they automatically pick the best one who could execute that job? 70%, for the purpose of the video, of course, succeeded. So we're getting here some loot. Let's have a look at the loot. Some of the icons I can recognize here. What they also shared with us, and what I find quite interesting, is we are not a rogue trader anymore. So we are an acolyte of the Inquisition. We are not so wealthy as a rogue trader is. So there is going to be currency. There is going to be cool kinds of barter and trading and selling and buying. So I'm curious there. I hope my loot goblin hearts will relinquish in terms of that we are allowed to grab as much loot as we want to without having to worry about, encumbrance. Over here we had a Medicae check, and apparently we did succeed. The carcass of a sea monster shows clear signs of mutation. The precise cause remains a mystery. I mean, all this purple and whatnot, I would call here a little bit of Zinj play over here, or Slanesh, even maybe Slanesh. Slaneshi more used and known for mutation. Or maybe just the slugs and radioactiveness and other shenanigans that the humans are dumping into the sea, I could imagine as well. Look at those teeth. I hope we're gonna fight one of these monsters as well. They also said that verticality and traversal will play a big role in this, so there will be terrain and whatnot that you think might be unreachable, but there are all kinds of ways to reach the high platform, etc. Quite intriguing. I mean, it overall looks like a better version, more fleshed out, graphically more sexy rogue trader to me, if you ask me. We are going to her, I see, to the battle sister. I'm down for it. Let's have a look. Sister Septima. The new eye, super sexy, that scroll that rolls down and the whole interface of it. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I would have even liked if the portraits would be even bigger. So you kind of like, or the portrait moves into the center to see who is presently talking. It gives a little bit of a more strength and power in terms of visualizing who is talking right now. And of course, everything will be voiced. I'm not sure if the B-roll is voiced already, but everything, every little chat that we're gonna have in the game, they said it will be voice acted. So over here we have Sister Septima saying that she studies a steady appraising look, making something inside you clench. Acolytes, Leander and Tarilis acolytes, I remember you. Rarely does one meet acolytes who bear the burden of their duty with such zeal. Again, we have quality of life things with highlighted text that we can then hover over that tells us maybe decisions from the background, decisions from the past that influence her acting and saying stuff, encyclopedia things, because they want to make, of course, the game from an angle that if you are not familiar with Warhammer 40k and this is your first ever contact with the universe, with a game, that you are not feeling lost. Continue to be steadfast in your undertakings, and you shall learn the grace of serving the God Emperor. When answering, Lord Inquisitor Zeb has sent me to assist you, sister, yet I know nothing of your objectives. I thank the God Emperor for this corruption cannot disturb an empty mind. For now, you need to know only what I tell you. First, Inquisitor Millicentilia has lost the greater part of her servants in this steppe zone. This has slowed her investigations and consequently our joint work. Find out what happened to her, them, and as soon as you can. Otherwise, Inquisitor Millicentilia will be forced to spend time she should be devoting to saving Calixis. Okay, so we have a task to help another person, another Inquisitor. Sounds very urgent. We acquired here a clue, and from what I understand with the clues that we're getting through conversations, through skill checks, through uh, putting things together on our own, we will have them presented different approaches in conversations, different tasks, and different outcomes in our talk. There might be even lines that don't even appear if we don't have some certain clue laid back or find out earlier. So very intrigued, very intriguing approach into giving each of us, even if we would pick the same class, the same stats, we might, because of either our gameplay, of roles, of other things, get and acquire different clues or not acquire different certain clues, and therefore our outcome will be a different one and our experience will be a different one. I am very excited to see and share all the stories with you guys as well. In this case, jump in our Discord and make sure to be part of it, as I would love to nerd around all kinds of RPGs. Of course, Dark Heresy in this case. So, second one servant Dertsus was to make contact with the local preacher Erchimus. His order were to question Erchimus and bring me the particulars in Requia. The sister of battle compresses her lips into a thin line. Dassus has the goal not to present himself before me. You must descend into the bowels of this rotten place, learn where Dertsus is, and bring him to me. You will recognize my servant by the robes of the ecclesiarchy, black hair cropped short, and the implant plate set into his forehead. Preacher Dersus, since when were we obliged to act as lackeys for the Adeptus Sororitas? Do we answer? Septima turns her heavy gaze on your companion. The Lord Inquisitor has transformed all of you to serve under my command for the duration of this mission. Therefore, at present, you are to follow my orders. What happens afterwards, only the God Emperor knows. I love the tune already. Very grim and dark. We're saying, are you suggesting we search the whole Hab zone to find Dertsus? To avoid fruitless searching, go to Confessor Esimus and head to the flock of repentance. He dwells in the so-called upper town. You will find him at the very top. The workers' devotional service should be drawing to a close, so you may pass through the gates freely. Say that I sent you, and he will reveal every secret. You arrived with sufficient haste, so I, Judge Dertsus, could not have swept away in the toxic surge. Bring him to me alive and whole. Do you work alongside Inquisitor Millie? Inquisitor Millicentilia is conducting her own investigation here. Her efforts are, without doubt, directed to support the Turntine Cabal, yet upon learning of my arrival, she did not see fit to join my righteous mission. Our talks about working together have stalled, and she now avoids my company. Turntine Cabal, there's different, let's call them sub groups of the Inquisition in this area and sector. The Turrentine Cabal is one of them. We have a wits test over here that was succeeded. Her frosty tone leaves no uncertainty. Despite her attempt to make light of the situation, there is no love lost between Sister Battle and the Inquisitor. Okay, so because of our wits, we noticed that they don't really like each other. I mean, it's kind of obvious from the text, but cool if it's also underlined from mechanics as well. Given Inquisitor Millicentilia dire circumstances, all the more surprising that her agent, the sister, glances briefly at the data slate she holds in her hand. Rufinus Scraig is probing the Maris Portum Sectoris on some mission. I must know that he is striving to sniff out. My people have lost track of him, therefore I entrust this task to you. According to reports, the agent bears an old burn on his face and an augmentation on the lower part of his left leg. I hope the game itself either has notes towards little things like that, or if not, Shift tab. You're playing on Steam, you have your own notice notes tab that you can freely use. It even saves in chapters and it's super easily to navigate. Definitely gonna make use of that. Or I find an online solution, or if you know an online solution that we can place down there where I and you together can put our hive minds into it and everybody can like put little notes into it and we, make a big information board that we can zoom around into certain topics and make our own kind of like investigation detective board to be interactive between you as the viewer and I as the content creator. Would be cool. According to reports, the agent bears the burn on the face, exactly, and an augmentation part on this left leg below the knee. This distinguishing features will guide you in your search. So Craig's whereabouts are unknown. He who was charged with watching the agent failed in his duty and now pays the price for that negligence. This, however, was merely a temporary lapse. I'll do whatever I can. It's heartening to see that you grasp the significance of this mission. Find the preacher Dursus and return him. The objective is clear. I'm not finished yet. Since the last tidal surge, people have been disappearing. Most of the missing were certainly swallowed by the raging flood, yet others vanished afterwards. People continue to go missing. On some nights, as many as 50 can be unaccounted for. Among other tasks, you must discover what became of these unfortunates and who is responsible for disappearance. That is all for now. Go and see to it. Also, another case has been opened, missing person. After the first sequence struck of the Maris Praetorum Sectorius, a wave of mass disappearance occurred throughout the Hab zone. Editorial journal. Oh my goodness. I'm liking the vibe of this already. Can't wait to hear the voice acting on her. Also, Alka did send me an email where they are working with Audio With, who are, the talent hires for... Ooh, what do we have here? For voice acting and whatnot. Sadly, that company did not answer. I would have loved to do some voice acting. And even if it's just an, I don't know, NPC number one who's having one line. That seems to be the Inquisitor. Ooh, she looks feisty and dangerous. Have you remembered anything? We have guests, Inquisitor. The acolyte who has been prowling around Maris Patorum. That's him, mistress. So she's on with 2 acolytes, and we are the same rank as the other 2. Definitely far low than the Inquisitor over here. Anton Zeber's newest prodigy. I thought you would make an appearance sooner or later. So we're going to leave that through a little bit more because we're going to keep the whole story parts for when the game is fully out. But overall, it looks here, the Lord Inquisitor wishes us to know the reason for your prolonged stay in the Sectoris and offering him his assistance. Okay, so Serba seems to be intrigued why this Inquisitor is doing his job around here. And she's on the missing case file. And we got 4 holo invokers to depict. The holo invokers kind of like little apparatus who are highlighting things that have happened there, and with the inputs and whatnot, they can reconstruct the situation in a sense. It's true that rescuing Ravel is not my responsibility. However, I cannot ignore the fact that there are some connections between the time frames of the disappearance, both of my people and the locals. Okay, so she's more interested in people that have disappeared from her retinue. I see. That's what's what drives her here. We're asking here, what will you be doing while I perform this task? I have other equally important matters to attend to, and asking me such a question requires a level of trust that you cannot be earned. That you have not earned. Okay, so we can earn some reputation with her. Interesting. And we're starting our investigation on this case. They also said we're going to get a lot of more cinematics and whatnot. So I'm having here hopes that even this little encounter will be a placeholder. And then when it comes to conversation, we get proper zoom in, appreciation of the character models, being up there in their face, maybe even a change of camera angle between like what actor is speaking right now. I'm okay with this design totally as well. So, on malicious acolytes nods to you. It's a rare fortune to see an acolyte of a dead inquisitor not following him to a grave on the Cabal's orders. Oh, there's even some rivalry going on here. Paying the acolytes not the slightest attention. A punic gives the witness of curiosity a look before turning to you. Numerous signs of bruising, superficial damage to the surface layers on the skin, apparent loss of integrity in some of the smaller bones. The procedure was performed with sufficient expertise. To ensure that the witness would not expire yet to retain any ability to feel pain, still I would recommend refraining from further applications of violence given the subject's age. And here we can have a talk with the old one. So the old man nods in visible effort. Is probably afraid, or just tells stories for our satisfaction. Here's the thing with interrogation: if you go beyond the limits of the human person and keep on pushing boundaries and hurting and inflicting pain, at some point they will just make things up in order to just get rid of you and make the pain stop. That's the kind of like normal consensus of it. Or they just really become utterly honest and truthful because they know it will not happen or should not happen if they are remaining truthful, of course. We're asking, what do you know about the nightmares affecting people at Marisportum? Okay, so people are having nightmares, it seems. And it started when the sea started to shake. That's when the nightmares also came. Everyone came down with it. Those flock of repentance folks say it's the God Emperor warning us, telling us to repent. Okay, so I believe it's a sign of the Emperor. Tell me what you've already told Inquisitor, and don't even think about handing anything. Yes, Master. I used to scoop grease of your food vasts here, traded it for rations at the market. First time that greed machine you also went all quiet and waited a little and came to see what this place was all about. I saw intruders here with weapons, so I hid in one of the vats and they didn't spot me. That's where I've been hiding every time since, but now you found me after all. That's weird. Described intruders. About a dozen of men there was. They had some scary folks and guns. Could have been bandits or such like. Didn't get a good look at them, but they weren't here for the food vats, that's for sure. Okay, so we have armed people in here. who compromised the place. What is this flock of repentance? Believers from his congregation, master. They've lost their way, though. They've all forgotten Saint Sibilius' name. And now they say everyone should cleanse themselves through pain. They say that's how we can serve the God Emperor and save ourselves from nightmares. They have a leader. Fancy old name. Forgot what he was. But I did see their marks around the camp. Written in blood they were. Sorry for that yawn. Been a long day. We're asking him, have you noticed anything suspicious in the Mars Portum? I have, master, I have. There's those divers living by the shore, madmen, all I tell you. One day there was walking along the shore, seeing what the sea might have brought. I look over and it's them divers chanting something, or maybe it was witchcraft. I couldn't tell. And then started dumping corpses in the water. I took off running. I was horrible. Reminds me of that meme with the guys chanting and singing the La 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 song around an pentagram and summoning a demon. Shame that I don't have an editor to implement that right now over here, but just imagine. La 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 la. I heard those apostles worship some sea creatures like it's a saint. It's why they butcher people to offer them to the beast. I haven't seen it myself, master, but it's what the people say. Okay, here's our diplomatic skill at place. It seems that there are worshipping Cthulhu or something like that. Is it everything? Don't forget, the more you tell me, the better your chances of living. Okay, so we're pressurizing there on that. The Baron's orders were to the Baron's orders were that no one was to come near this place, but those armed intruders, they looked like his lot. Stay here, I have more questions later. So the Baron of this place apparently has to do something because the guards or the bandits are having the clothes of the Baron's people. Could also be that somebody's trying to set the Baron up, but all you hear in response is the old man quiet whimpering. So we had a chat with that man, getting some more tools and items. Good, so some sort of local baron is in some fishy business going on. Oh, look at that, cutscene. Claw. Oh. Whoa. A warp gate is opening. Excuse me, who are you? What an entrance in Eldari. That was cool. Of course, you're a Xenos. I would go straight for enemy of humanity. Bam. You have correctly discerned my origins. Impressive. Inquisitor Melisentilia isn't squeamish about the tools she uses. She brought in a Xenos sorcerer, says Hymar, one of companions, and right under Septima's nose. Our Lord Xenos succeeded. You are of the Eldari, highly evolved Xenos, enemies of humanity. You have guessed my race, but I'm no foe to you or your tribe. Inquisitor Melisentilia and I have forged a temporary alliance, one that benefits us both. I must admit that Inquisitor has always adhered to a principle of tolerance towards alien species capable of communication, says Epione. Interesting. What would you do in this case? I'm still torn between what kind of Inquisitor, what kind of acolyte, sorry, we're not an Inquisitor yet, what kind of acolyte we shall play. Will we go kind of like, odds justify the means and everything for the goal, no matter how? Or will we be super, super zealous, super for the Emperor and everything that just steps even slightly off the path? We go over it. Although I think in the Acolyte School and in general, if you look at Inquisitors and whatnot, they have this kind of balance in there between accepting evil and using evil to find evil. So in that kind of sense, a truly unique individual among your kinds. Inquisitor Melisangela wished to know if sorcery was involved in the disappearance of her underling, sorcery of a special kind, which is the source in darkest corruption. I hear the echo, what your kind calls the Empyrean. However, it is this sound that discerns not the foulness of that which the monkey called the archenemy, but ancient fatigue and malevolence of a twisted mind. We can interrogate. It's powerful on consuming, he says. And he disappears and is now over there. A religious symbol. He's one of the companions, I think, from the poster. With some scanning things over here. I wonder if the scanning abilities and how well these devices and whatnot work depends on your skill level. So if you're scan, for example, over here, or examine, if what you find depends how good you are in terms of your skill level. There comes also a Holo Invoker. In another round of analysis, the ground is covered in stains, thick, oily stench clogs. So another place for a Holo device, whatever the name was, Holo Invoker. The crates scattered around the camp have been crudely forced open. If there were just anything of value inside, it has already been pilfered. Crudely opened, okay. So it needs a lot of power. Bandits or fanatics took the supplies. Okay, so here we can put a theory together, I think. Who was attacked at the excavation sites? Who attacked the excavation sites? So with that, we put our clues or story together. The expedition member were taken away by force. I wonder if the picks that you can get there are becoming different or more depending if you have certain clues or not. Okay, so you threw that all together. The Inquisitor is already here. Here's the Acolyte. Lathier has already informed me of the hold you in his findings. I dare say what he told you might even be the truth. Standing close by the Xenos does not react to Inquisitor's words. His gaze is distant. You have unusual assistance. Some things are more accessible. I'm curious what she says there. Some things are more accessible to the cunning mind and the heightened perceptions of an Eldari. This is your chance to make use of your abilities. It would be unwise to spurn it. We make an awareness successful check over here. You can't help but notice the thrum of tension in the Inquisitor's tone and the look she casts at the Eldari. It seems that despite her confident words, she is anxious about the Xenos presence in her unit, most likely due to the dangerous proximity of a sister of battle to the excavation site. Oh, yeah. She might react completely different over there. So let's discuss what happened here. We have a theory on what is going on. Now she's looking through our theory. Having a look at all that we've set up. A skirmish took place here, no doubt about it, but you're overlooking an important detail. If my people had been in the camp, no one could have got in. Not even all of Maris Portum had attacked the perimeter besides. What about the strange footprints you found? I assure you, there are no four-toed mutants in my expedition team. Four-toed mutants? You think threats from some ragtag bandits wouldn't use this? Some of your conclusions are tedious, too tedious. Your emissary conclusions are tedious because the tracks on the excavation site contradict each other, whereas the truth is not what it is the first to appear. Someone took pains to ensure that the traces left behind would sow confusion in the mind of whoever might attempt to unravel this mystery. So the footprints are placed on purpose. Interesting thoughts there. I knew there was something you weren't telling me, Corsair. I saw no reason to state that which is so obvious. I should not have forgotten that I'm dealing with Monkey now, Acolyte has reminded me. Either way, we have one indisputable piece of evidence, the tracks leading out of the camp. Okay. Well, let's go and follow where they leads. I'm gonna leave them do that. I love already that we have so many choices of understanding what's going on, asking questions. Depending if you ask questions, you get apparently intel that you can put together and use. I'm very hoping that we're getting some sort of detective board, you know, with the strings and the little knobs and crannies all around. Well, that was it for the B-roll, sadly. We saw a little bit of investigation set up. We saw some skill checks and whatnot. Sadly, we didn't see any fighting or turn-based combat in this occasion. But soon, just a few more days, then I'll be here with you live, checking out the alpha, everything that is available. We're going to go through and play it and maybe try different angles, try different characters, different classes and whatnot. So if you have any wishes, suggestions, or anything at all, please let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, hop in our Discord, and big thanks and shout out to Alcad for including me into this lovely, lovely come together and also giving me access to the B-roll and overall being very helpful and supportive to the channel. Love you guys. See you soon, and fingers crossed, meaning next year around this time, Christmas time, I will try my best to put together an TTRPG session with the voice actors of our new companions and invite one, I don't know, of your choice creator that you think should be our Inquisitor Acolyte to a table to play together and do a little TTRPG session as we did for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. If you don't know the video, check it out. People say it might be their replacement for Die Hard as a Christmas video tradition to watch a movie over and over. They're watching our TTRPG session now over and over. Very, very nice words. Blesses my and warms my heart. And with that, I wish you a wonderful day. Ciao for now.